融聚智慧，方能融创价值，融你我，融无限。江苏银行。
本节目由江苏银行冠名播出。现年87岁高龄的约翰·奈斯比特是世界著名的经济学家和未来学家。他曾经就读于哈佛、康奈尔和犹他州大学，早年涉足政坛。1963年，他被肯尼迪总统任命为教育部的助理部长，后来还担任过约翰逊总统的特别助理。1967年，他创办了都市研究公司，用自创的内容分析法研究美国社会的发展趋势。1982年，他的第一本书《大趋势》问世，预言了未来社会的10个大趋势。而如今呢，其中的大部分已经成为了现实，尤其是网络社会和全球化2大趋势已经成为当今世界的主流。这本书呢，也就被誉为能够准确把握时代发展脉搏的3大巨著之一。此后呢，他又陆续发表了包括2000大趋势、全球吊诡、亚洲大趋势在内的多部作品。约翰·奈斯比特一直高度关注中国的经济社会发展，在他的主导下，奈斯比特中国研究院于2006年成立，专注研究中国社会文化和经济转型。2009年，他与同为经济学家的妻子多丽丝·奈斯比特合著的新书《中国大趋势》出版，提出了中国新社会的8大支柱理论，预测中国未来的发展趋势。不久前，约翰·奈斯比特夫妇共同出席了由财新传媒主办的2016中国改革横琴论坛，并接受了财新时间的专访。而话题呢，就从《中国大趋势》一书展开。
Why do you choose China as your main subject?
Because it's the most interesting place in the world. When we got married, we were traveling the whole world, and it wasn't that we sat down and said, let's choose China. But as we traveled the world, we happened to be more and more often in China. Besides, there was an old promise lingering.
Yeah, I had a meeting one time with Jiang Zemin when he was president, and we were talking about various things, and Taiwan came up, and I said, you know, Taiwan has a good story to tell, and it's telling it pretty well. China, I said to the president, China has a great story to tell. And I looked him right in the eye and said, and you are doing a terrible job telling it. Silence. Silence. And then he said, why don't you tell it? And that's what got started. Then, as soon as I met Doris, I said, then we can tell it. And so we've been trying his invitation, or his support anyway, a long time ago. We've been trying to tell as best we can the China story, which is a great story.
You write books about China, mention China. In your books, you make some predictions about China and how these predictions going. Are they achieved?
Yeah, we were describing in China's megatrends. We were describing the 8 pillars on which China's economic development is resting. It was a description of the developments that were already in place. So we didn't need too much of insight, foresight, to see how China is developing, how it is really gaining economic importance, which will soon be reflected in an increasingly global role. In the next book we wrote, Global Game Change, we were talking about China's position as a game changer, and so far, as we see it unfold, China's influence and China's leadership for the emerging world has increased year by year. And ever since we are writing about China, every year we read 10 times, China is going to have a hard landing. China is going to fall apart. It's not true, because look at the basics. As long as China's government is fulfilling its promise to lead China into further economic progress, into getting more and more people into middle class, then China's people are quite content. I don't think that we were wrong on something.
There's another point here. What's going on now? The most exciting thing in some ways, the new directions is going is reincarnating the old Silk Road. And, we can just report to you that while it's very exciting in this part of the world, and people talk about it, that almost no one in the West knows what the hell that is. They just have no idea, and they don't try to find out, and we don't read in the papers of the West about the reports about all the projects that have been announced along the new Silk Road. The West doesn't pay attention to it, and then they wake up some morning and they're sort of overwhelmed by something, and so they just attack.
I would say with some exceptions, because when we were giving a speech on an innovation conference in Austria, in a tiny village, actually in the town where we got to know each other, they already told us that they are working with Venice to be part of the Silk Road, of the maritime Silk Road. So, you have these islands of understanding and of a more openness to use the opportunities that are coming along. But of course, as John said, the skepticism is very high, and you don't want to talk about too much what you don't want to happen, because it's the largest economic trade program ever. If it takes place and unfolds with a trade volume of $2.5 trillion. It's just unimaginable.
在《中国大趋势》一书中，约翰·奈斯比特夫妇分析了支撑中国新社会的8大支柱，即解放思想、自上而下与自下而上的结合、规划森林以让树木自由生长、摸着石头过河、艺术与学术的萌动、融入世界、自由与公平，从奥运金牌到诺贝尔奖。书中总结到，中国正在创造一个崭新的纵向民主的社会、经济和政治体制。中国模式将以令人难以置信的力量影响着整个世界。在采访中，约翰·奈斯比特夫妇也进一步解读了他们所理解的中国模式的内涵。
Is there a true China model, and how much does the China model hold and accepted by the Western public?
Let me remind you of an old Chinese saying: "You cross the river by feeling the stones." Remember that one? Well, when you say they have a model, they put out this great model that says we're going to do this and this, and then 2 years later we're going to... No, they cross the river by feeling the stones. They have a direction they're going, and they learn as they go, crossing the river by feeling the stones. That's a very different mentality than the mentality of the West that asks these questions that are not even appropriate.
I think that the big difference between the Western model, so to say, and the Chinese model is that China has a strategic plan. If you look back, it has the 100-year plan that started in 1921, which is 100% going to be achieved in 2021, which is modest wealth for everybody, for all of the Chinese. The next 100-year goal was set in 1949, and we don't have doubts that also the next goal, the next level of middle class will be achieved in 2049. Actually, we believe it may well be quite a bit earlier than it will be achieved. In the long-term thinking, the 100-year plan, despite all these downfalls, about all these missteps, as John said, you found the next step again, you found the next stone. And that's something that is a recovery quality that China has. That even if we make a mistake, let's look how we can get back on track. And the 5-year plans are strategic steps. You know, luckily, we're not against Western democracy. We just don't want to be misunderstood, me, you and I. But, you know, if your head is free of election-driven thinking, you can make these long-term plans, and then every 5 years, you can say, okay, where are we on the goal? Are we still on target, or do we have to make corrections? And that's the strength of China.
Your book, Innovation in China, and are you optimistic it will happen on a larger scale?
Today, China is the most innovative. If you look at the efforts, the number of people, the number of projects, and so on, China is the most innovative country in the world. Now, whether or not those are going to all be successful or how many successful, but the effort is greater in China than anywhere.
Well, China certainly leads the world now in patents, and you can discuss, you know, the value of each patent and so forth. But the West is in a big danger to oversleep the switch from the Chinese economy from a manufacturing economy to a innovation economy, and that is dramatic. And we know quite a number of entrepreneurs who used to have their machinery produced in China and their development research centers, R&D, in Europe, somewhere in Germany or wherever. Now they switch. They put the R&D into China, and they have the production in the Western countries. And what the entrepreneurs say to us is, look, for the price I pay for an IT technician in China, in Germany, I get 3 in China.
In your book, Global Paradox, you said the bigger the world economy, the more powerful its smallest players. Why is this?
Because of the openness. Now, small units, individuals, smaller points of enterprise and development, and leverage things in the world because of all the communications we have, so in ways that were unimaginable centuries ago or decades ago. It's an openness that allows everyone to talk to everyone. Look, you know, there are 3 billion people connected by telephones now. I mean, that's unreal. That's a very different world than the world. You know, even in my lifetime, when I was an 8-year-old or 9-year-old, it's a long time ago.
What was not foreseeable at the time when he wrote Global Paradox was that one person within a few years could build companies that are worth more than General Motors, which took up decades to really build up. You know, they don't need assets, they don't need to create an expensive machinery. It's all on a relatively small scale with a huge, huge global impact. You know, that was unthinkable. Think about Uber or the Chinese version of Uber, Didi? Didi. Yeah, we use it in China. And this is fortunes made within a very short time. So it's the power is really given to the individuals. Or in Africa, it's individuals that create those apps that allow the African people to do business and do their financial business, because there are too few banks, there is not the infrastructure. So the empowerment of the individual is really, really great, and the technology is of enormous help.
近2年来呢，世界格局逐渐显现出反全球化的趋势，贸易保护主义和民粹主义抬头。英国公投脱离欧盟，将反全球化自由贸易作为主要政策卖点的特朗普的崛起，多国持贸易保护主义态度的右翼政党也获得了大批民众的支持。 而在约翰·奈斯比特夫妇看来，没有哪个国家能够脱离全球化的大趋势。他认为，中国的崛起将撼动西方主导的旧世界的格局。
Do you see a persistent trend of anti-globalization because Mr. Trump and break this?
You know, it's not that we can vote for or against globalization. This is absolutely not possible. Globalization is a process, and it's the result of millions and millions of decisions that are made every day. It's a result of international trade. It's a result of the interconnectedness of economic systems, of financial systems, of people being connected through the internet. It's impossible for any politician in the world to say, I'm against globalization, so just let's stop it. So what we have to do is we have to look at what's the direction the world is going, and where are my abilities to make the most out of that stream. In that stream, the world is heading.
And how do you see China's role in Europe and in America?
I think you have to say, how is Europe and America going to respond to China's world? Because China is the big change agent. China is really negotiating most of the changes that are starting to take place in the world, apart from the technological considerations. And in that change, there are great opportunities which some countries will take advantage of and see what the opportunities are, and others will be just left in the dust.
Well, and besides China's own rise, which is really one of the, it has never happened in history before that a country of this size rose so fast. But there is a big emotional influence that China has on the emerging economies, because it made it delivered the proof that it is possible to change from dirt poor to a developing country within a relatively short time, and it gives all those countries a backbone. You know, the self-confidence of China is reflected in a stronger self-confidence of emerging economies in Africa and Asia, and that's a very good process.
Just remember that the West has been running the world for a couple hundred years, up in the north, as it were. The West is only 17% of the world's population. Down here in the south, it's 80% of the world's population, and things are shifting. And they've been shifting from the West, with a small percentage of population, into the most populous part of the world, which is what we call the Southern Belt, with Asia and Africa and Latin America, actually.
中美关系呢，长期以来都是国际关注的焦点。随着世界经济与政治格局的演化，特别是中国更加积极地参与塑造世界秩序，中美关系必将进一步的复杂化。经济上，两国还将互相渗透、互相依赖，同时呢，面临永恒的利益竞争。而政治上呢，两国体制的反差日益凸显，对话的机会增多，但沟通的难度却在加大。中美和平共处还需要两国的共同努力才能够实现。
What sort of relationships between China and America do you observe? And what relationship do you think China and America will have in the future?
Well, how do we see it? I see it as deteriorating, because I think the West and the United States especially is kind of upset because China is becoming so strong, because they've been the strong country for these 200 years, and they're going to be replaced as the global game changer from the United States to China, and of course they're threatened by that. And we don't expect them to stand up and cheer China, but they could behave themselves and not try to undermine China or do negative moves toward China.
If you look at Latin America, it's the backyard of the United States, and the relationships have not improved because it's not aid, it's not charity that these countries want. It's economic support. And what China did was it came, there's a difference whether you build a bridge so that the people can have infrastructure, so that the local people can get on their own feet and get an economic opportunity to make their own money, to have their own businesses. And that's the difference that the charity that the European nations and that the US did on the so-called underdeveloped countries did not lead to anything. Because first of all, the money was sort of disappearing in dark niches, and secondly, it didn't arrive at by the people. But if you build a bridge, if you build a road, if you build a factory, then the people can benefit. It's not only investing in a country, it's investing in the capacity of the local people. And that's the advantage of what China does in these countries, and no matter how high the self-interest of China is, as long as it's a win-win game, it's good for both.
Yeah, there's a huge difference between what the West has done and what China is doing. The West says, okay, we're going to help you, as Dora said, here and there with your country, but you've got to be a democracy, you've got to there are new rules, you've got to follow through. China says, we're interested in an economic relationship and with our all benefit here. What you do with your government is your business, it's not our business. But the United States did the opposite. They said, what your government is totally our business, and it has to be governing like as we govern. And that's one of the reasons it's been quite on balance of failure.
And can I ask your opinions about AIIB and TPP, like these organizations? Because these organizations may lead the world leaders into two breaking camps. So how do you think about these two breaking camps?
AIIB came along in the U.S. says, no, you should not join that. And the first country to join was England, for heaven's sakes. And it's been very, very successful. And if you call the two camps, the AIIB and some of the Western banks and global banks approach, it's a very different kind of approach. And it seems to us that the Chinese approach is much more appropriate and will be much more successful. As Dora said, the U.S. has been supporting Latin American countries for years and years and years. At the same time, saying you've got to be a democracy as we are.
And if the World Bank, for example, if the IMF, if a global institution would have given China gradually the percentage of according to its economic position in the world, China might not even have taken the initiative. But, take it as in the business world. Competition is good. And while, the global institutions were founded by the West, and if we're honest, to the benefit of the West in the main place, why not have a bank that also works in the interest of the emerging economies? So let them be both, and let them argue against each other to find maybe a common ground. So if one is more leaning towards one side, let AIIB lean more towards the other side and represent the interest and the needs of the emerging economies. And by the way, there are so many Western countries. It's the US and Japan that have not signed. So it's not only a Chinese institution, financial institution anymore. It's a global institution, which the US tried to avoid, but it is a reflection for the US how much the world is changing.